God, that's too much. Hand gel available any time you want some. Crikey.
It always happens when we're in college because the dispensers like give like three people's worth.
Sorry about this. I bought 6 litres of the stuff last summer that someone offered. I think we got through about 1.5 litres. One of my instructor friends, I've entered a competition reviewing some of their products that I use, and I've actually won. Guess what? I bought a 250 or 200 or 500 ml bottle of sanitizer. Yeah. Right, so while we're sitting here, you're getting ready to go. You can just get yourself sorted. I'm just going to do a little blurb for the camera.
Okay.
So we're off on our second lesson, and we've sat outside chatting about approach to junctions and so on. So we've got an idea on that, and you're moving off from home for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Your reflective log, you've said about clutch control and moving the clutch nice and slowly, and wanted to practice junctions, or at least that's what the reflective log automatically seemed to have put in for you. Well, it's a good thing to be doing today.
Yeah.
Right, so when you're ready.
Should I go that way round?
Any particular reason why you'd prefer to go that way to that way?
Because they normally drive in that way, or I can go that way.
Well, what do you think would be easier in terms of the steering from
Going
here?
that way.
Yeah. Okay. So you're a little bit worried about the possibility of something coming towards you?
Yeah, but none of the annoying vans are parked there now, so I reckon I'll be okay.
Oh right, so there's normally a van
There's
parked.
normally a huge one there on that corner.
Ah, yes, yes, we've walked around this way a few times. And, yes. Yeah, so it shouldn't be so bad, but of course you are on the wrong side of the road as well. And I think equally coming round that way, you'd be on the correct side of the road. But what if somebody comes round? What side of the road are they likely to be on? Because my guess is most people who come around here know the road and know there's going to be these cars taking up the side of the road where they'd want to be.
So they'll be on the wrong side of the road as
Yeah.
well.
So I think it's as broad as it's long here, to be honest with you.
I think I'll be okay going that way.
Well, how can you reduce the risk?
Making sure I go nice and slowly so I can stop if I need to.
Yeah, good.
I've done everything I need to do.
That always helps.
I was like, right, what have I done?
What was that like?
Okay, it was a little bit jolty, but it was...
So in terms of junctions, we've got our first one coming up here.
Yeah.
And we're going to go left, obviously, so your routine is going to be...
Indicate.
Mirrors first? Yeah.
Mirrors, then indicate, and then...
Do we have to stop?
No.
Well done. See, one of the issues with these roads here is the cars parked over there, and somebody could easily start turning too early.
Yeah.
I get that in Wells Avenue. And they come down Station Road and they turn on the wrong side of the road before they've got any idea what's in the other road at all. That's helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got another right turn. We've just missed the bin men, that's a bit of luck. So routine for turning right. That's it. And then for turning left. Now we have got lines down here.
Yeah.
So you talked about going nice and slowly. Where do you want your feet to be to make sure you don't go too fast?
Covering the brakes.
Yeah. Well done. Lovely. this speed limit here, do we have to keep to it?
Yeah.
What shape was the sign around the max speed 20 mile an hour?
Rectangle.
Yeah, so rectangular signs are what type of sign?
Information. He doesn't like the 20 mile an hour
Well,
speed limit.
why do you think? It's advice and information.
Yeah.
That's all. It's not compulsory. It's not instruction. So why do you think there's a 20 limit along here at the moment?
Because they've just put this horrible tipping down and it's all skinny.
Yeah, it potentially is. It's actually much better today than it was late Monday afternoon when they finished it.
Yeah, it's been driven in a bit now, hasn't it?
Yeah, and if you drive out to Pay Hembury, they did a similar sort of thing a couple of weeks ago, and it's bedded in much more up there.
Yeah.
Now you know what's coming up round here. Narrow little bit of road. That's it. And you can guarantee that if there's a whacking great lorry coming along this road, this is where you'll meet it.
Yeah.
There's some ludicrously large lorries go off to the timber yard, don't they? Towards Taverton. Another reason why I wouldn't want to be going too fast along it, it's not so much just for the skid, but it goes too fast to throw up all the stones.
Yeah.
And you could chip the paintwork. But I imagine the guy who drove that van that went past us is probably a works van. So
He's probably not too fast.
No.
From experience, Dad owns his van and I'm sure he's not too fussed about the paint job on his.
Well, that's helpful. So where you going? I'll sort that out in a moment. Well done. Very good of him to wear some high-vis clothing around here. So let's just talk about what we're going to do at Palace this year. No need to do anything apart from what you're doing at the moment. When we get there, obviously you've got the routine for turning right.
Yeah, we're going right.
Yeah, oh yeah, we will.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the harder one. Yeah, we'll go right. What gear are you going to be in when you get there? Do you think?
1 or 2? 2?
I'd go to 1, to be honest
Okay.
with you. It's quite steep there. Now, at what point along here? No,
He's going to go into 2.
that's fine. Okay. So, at what point along here are you going to start your routine? Do you think? Could you do
after this junction?
just? You shouldn't. No one's thinking. Okay, so that's it. Don't think anybody expect you to go down there. Now, where are you going? Just squeeze the brake a little bit. Oh, I don't use the brake. Use the clutch to slow us down. They're just nice and easy. Nice and easy. What's it look? Clear to the right. So what's it like to the left? Lovely speed. Can you go?
Yeah.
Well, you got us down to the speed that was ideal for the junction.
Yeah.
But how did we get down to that speed?
Not very successfully.
So we're going to take the next road on the left. Before the signal. I wouldn't say it wasn't successful getting down to the speed. I think we achieved the aim.
Yeah.
How comfortable it was might be a different matter.
Yeah, I went down into first. It was a bit clunky.
Well, it was the gear you wanted.
Yeah.
Why did we get... Oh, God.
Because I didn't do the clutch smoothly and...
So what would have been a better way to have got the car down to that speed?
Slow down a bit and then go into first.
Okay, and if you don't just slow down enough naturally, what else might you use to help you slow down?
The brakes.
If the slope doesn't do it enough, use the brakes rather than the gear to slow you down.
Okay.
Basically we want gears to go, brakes to slow.
Yeah. coming though, so.
Well, yes.
That was quite great.
It won't work like that every time.
That was quite appreciated.
But it was the perfect, because it's hard enough to see to the at the moment. Give it a couple of months and all that grass grown, and that becomes really, really difficult. Well, the engine's on anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice that the driver behind is obeying the speed limit as well. Most of them don't. What do you think is possibly going to happen once we get to this road sign?
They're going to zoom past me.
Look at that. So do you think it was a good idea to have known that they were there and be sort of anticipating what they were going to do before you actually started to speed up?
Yeah. Because we would have both sped up.
Yeah. Could we go a little bit faster along here? I don't say we have to, if you're quite comfortable doing this. Now we've passed the national speed limit sign. Ah, what's in the distance?
A truck.
You can't have it all clear, Jasmine.
Everyone's favourite transport.
And we've got the junction not too far ahead.
No.
So it's a similar sort of turn coming out of Lincoln Close to this one.
Yeah.
This is probably a little bit more downhill. That one wasn't. Of course, we're going to go right this time, not left. So where along it? Just leave things for a moment. Where? What's the first things you're going to do?
Check my mirrors.
And
Right, slow
signal
down.
and
Stop
signal. Yeah.
Am I in too high a gear or?
You're in fourth gear, aren't you? You think you're slowing down? You think you ought to be in another gear?
Yeah.
Yeah. What one are you going to go? So squeeze the brake a little bit. Put the
Second.
clutch down. Okay, let's try second. Now I suggest you leave the clutch down at the moment.
Okay.
Look both ways, can we go? Off the brake, off the brake, a bit of gas. A bit more gas. Straight off. I just rescued you there. Because you just came straight off the clutch. Fortunately for you, the tractor turned left.
Yeah.
Now the gear you were in at that junction was second.
Yeah.
And compared to first gear, how much power do you get from second gear? More or less? So you just about stopped.
Yeah.
And you decided, come on clutch, work instantly.
Yeah. So I should have been in first.
Right, I think if you've been a bit more gentle, this aim that you've got of moving the clutch up steady, I think if you'd done that with a nice bit of hum from the engine, we almost certainly would have got out of there okay.
Yeah.
But maybe at the speed you've gone down to, your suggestion of the first gear, probably we'd have had more chance of getting out, even when you bring the clutch up like. Yeah. Get to the biting point. And, get there as quickly as you want to. That's you don't do it because it's going past it.
Yeah.
Stop. So now we've got the really nice junction down here.
Yeah.
So this is where the clutch control, you can really have a practice at that. There's mirrors. And what are we going to do with the speed? There we are. What gear are we going to go to?
One?
Yes, definitely. Just squeeze the brake a little bit more. Leave the clutch down, squeeze it a bit more. See, I wouldn't ever treat this as a giveaway. This is a stop junction as far as I'm concerned, because of that horrible view.
Yeah.
Right, now help yourself. We're rolling backward. Good, well done. This is where your clutch control comes in. This is where your aim is of not moving that clutch much.
Do I need accelerator or am I going to do it?
Well, first of all, how close to the white line are we?
Not very close.
Okay, so if you just use the clutch, do you think that might just crawl us a little bit nearer?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's it looking like to the right after the blue car?
3.
So let's just use the clutch just to get a bit nearer. How can you help yourself again now you've stopped? That's it. When you found that biting point, you're keeping your foot there, you're not moving it. What's that looking like now? Alright?
Yeah.
Okay. Clutch is coming just a little bit fast again.
Okay.
With the jolts. But we're out.
Yeah.
And with a car that was coming from the to the left, but you got out nice and promptly.
Yeah.
All right, it's a bit of a jolt, but you got out. Now, what gear are you going to go to next down here? I'd go to 4th. I'd go, yeah. Yes, well done. Because the slope's helped. How does that feel?
That's good, yeah.
Distance?
Yeah.
Yes, there is, isn't there? I'm not sure what it is.
No.
I'm assuming it's a cyclist,
yeah,
but I'm not absolutely certain.
Cyclist or pedestrian.
Oh yes, I can see the feet, the legs going up and down now. Don't brake too much yet. You're right. Then we don't want to be going too slow too far from it. You're absolutely right in your idea that let's give ourselves a bit more time.
The car's coming the other way.
Yeah, so do you think it's going to be safe to go past you? Just leave the brake for the moment. But do you think as soon as this green car's gone past, we could go?
Yeah.
So just get a bit nearer, So we want to get out before that white van turns up.
Yeah.
So, lovely. Well done. Because if you're too far back, by the time you've got to the cyclist, well, all right, he's turned off, but he might have been too close to the just past the whatever this place is called these days, roundabout. We'll follow the road ahead at the roundabout, which is the second exit.
Yeah.
So what sort of speed, what gear do you think you want to use as you approach the roundabout? Okay. So do you want to slow the car down a bit with the brake? See how much smoother that gear change was. And we're giving way to traffic from
The right.
Where's the blue car going? Can you get on the roundabout at all? No. Off brake, gas, hang on, and just signal left that you're leaving. Well, the driver of that blue car was really helpful telling you where they were going.
Yeah.
Did you see where they went?
No.
Went off to the left. No signal. So the two vans that came across the roundabout actually acted as blockers for the driver you were giving way to. Now, roundabouts are always going to be one of the hardest things to do because of what other people don't tell you, or do tell you and do something different. Now in a moment we've got another roundabout coming up. We'll treat it just like a junction on the approach. This one we're going to turn right because the road's closed ahead. So you shouldn't really have a problem with the traffic from the right because they can't go across the roundabout that way because the road's closed. But even so, we'll just make sure there's nobody there because they might be turning round to go back the other way. So we're going to turn right on the wall. Turn right. So what we're going to do, what do you need to do before you get there? Mirrors and signals? That's it. Are we okay to go? So lovely speed. Don't need any more at the moment. And we'll tell other drivers that we're leaving the roundabout as well. Lovely, well done. Put the signal off because there's a road here. Now at the end of the road, we're going to turn left. So could you start the routine here?
Yeah.
So that's it. What speed are we going at? A little glance to the right before it becomes a bit more difficult. Could you see any cars coming?
No.
That's a lovely speed. Keep that going. A bit of steering on. Okay, can we go? Yes. Yeah. Well done. Right, steering off before we're on the curb. Lovely. Because the road's closed, it would normally just go straight on along there. So we're going to end up, especially at this time of day, with possibly more than you get at any other time. That's the all-through school down that end. And there's primary school down this end.
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, on the left, isn't it?
The good thing about that is because traffic's having to come through here, there are no parking cones out. God knows what it's like at that school. And people, the children are having to walk 5 metres.
Sounds quite strenuous.
Well done. Now, 20 mile an hour limit. What gear do you think would be the best one to use?
2?
Yeah, I would, to be honest with you. So, sounding a bit racy if you get much above 20, so it's a bit of a help. Parked cars on both sides, or various sides. When the parked cars are on our side, who has priority?
Them?
Yes. Well, there's far fewer parked cars along here than normal. These are all off the road. I'm not so sure about the white van up ahead. Once we get round this bend, we will take the next road on the right. So so you have a little glance to the left first. Leaving the door open. Thank you very much. So, routine for turning right.
This one?
Yep. Well done. Lovely. That's your skateboard. There's one there. Make sure the car's going where you want it to before you take a hand in now, Jasmine, because we're going to just come round here. It's a dead end down here. Oh, 10 years or so, this could be you, a running mum.
It's a lot more difficult pushing another person.
Oh yeah. And we'll just go straight ahead down here. pull up on the left hand side, anywhere, on, just get past the straight on arrows, and anywhere on the left down here.
What was that?
So, give me your verdict on progress so far.
I still need to bring that clutch up slowly because that's like my main thing, and just remembering to signal and check my mirrors before I slow down at the junction.
Okay. So I wouldn't disagree with that at all. So in terms of getting that sorted, what help do you want from me?
Maybe the clutch thing I've sort of got to drill into my head myself, but maybe if you notice that I'm slowing down before doing the junction, just maybe like a little like sort of like not like a reminder, but like a little prompt just.
Okay, so it's a prompt about when to slow down?
No, just more so like if I slow down before doing like the mirror checks and the indicating.
Oh right, so a prompt about getting the order.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Fine. Okay. Yep. Happy with that. So maybe if because what a couple of times there, when are you going to start your routine? Now that does not mean you should be starting it straight away, because I'm sort of asking that question in my mind well before to do it. So I'm trying to see if you can suggest when you're going to do it, rather than I think we should be doing it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's giving myself a bit of time, as well as you, just to plan as to what's going on. Yeah, and so with the clutch, you're just going to try and regulate yourself on that.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Because I know what I need to do. I just need to remember to do it.
Absolutely. The one where we came out before the crematorium, well, we came out.
Yeah.
And okay, there's a little bit of a jolt there. I just wonder, in my mind, whether in your mind, it's oh God, I know what this road's like. I want to get out quickly.
Yeah, I think it's that I panic and just like pull it up straight away.
Yeah, almost certainly. And what's the more likely scenario if you pull it up straight away?
So I'm going to stall in the middle and someone's going to come flying into me.
Yeah, especially on that road. Yeah. I think there probably is enough vision for a driver, even if they're going quite, because they're not going to be, almost certainly not going to be doing 60 straight away, because they've got the bends to the left before you get to the dual carriageway. But yeah, that's what I thought was going through your mind. Right, so you're going to try and self-regulate yourself on that, which is good. And I'll just what about well, let's see. A lot depends on what the nature of the junction is. If there's lots going on before it, I might not quite say when you're going to do everything, because there might be other things that you need to sort out as well, and you might have slowed the car down enough already. But some of the ones where it's a much longer straight-ish road and there's not many other things going on, might just when you can think more clearly about just the road rather than pedestrians and parked cars and things.
It's just sort of like when I forget to do it all in the right order.
Yeah, okay. Right, so what we'll do in a minute, we'll drive off out of Cranbrook and we will go and find somewhere on the outskirts of Exeter to have a play around with some junctions. Might even go back to the science park and use the crosses. I'll have a think about. We might find something a little bit more challenging than that. Before we move off, I think this is probably the first time you've parked at the side of the road. How well have you parked?
Not too badly. So go and have a look. Practically on top of it.
So do you think that's good?
Yeah, because you want to be as close to it as you can without actually...
Yeah, I think that's absolutely superb. Now, how have you managed to judge that? Was it a fluke, or were there things going through your mind as you pulled up here?
I was just trying to go nice and slowly so I could sort of roughly see where...
Okay.
And you can sort of see in that mirror how close the back of the car is to it.
Were you looking in this mirror before you stopped?
No, and then I realised that I could have done that when I was...
Well, I'm actually quite pleased you didn't.
Okay.
Because the longer you look to the left or the right, the more likely is your hands will follow your eyes.
Yeah.
And that's when you could easily go and clip the curb.
Yeah.
The speed you were going at, I think even if all we'd have done was just brush the curb, and I'm pretty sure you'd have realised, oh no, don't need to get any nearer. So next time you do this, how can you help yourself know when you're near enough to the curb without looking here before you stop? Look here once you stop, by all means.
Yeah.
Or when you're going so slowly that it's not going to make much difference if you have a couple of seconds to look here. But as you're coming towards the stop, where do you think you ought to be looking?
Where I'm at, like the sort of curb where I'm going.
Right, okay. So what about the curb? You now know that you've parked. I wouldn't want anybody to park better than you have here, because we're near the curb. We're not touching it.
Yeah.
You know, we're not sticking out in the road at all. So what could you do next time we pull up at the side of the road to know that you're pretty near the curb?
I'm trying to work out what I can see. Like if I was. I'm not sure.
What are we trying to park next to?
The curb.
Okay, so why don't we try using the curb?
Yeah.
That's the thing to see. So sit in your normal position rather than trying to lean forwards. Now let's use a combination of the curb and the car.
Yeah.
So you tell me how far across the bottom of the windscreen the curb appears to meet the windscreen.
Like about where the Bosch wiring things in the windscreen wipers.
Okay. So if you're going slowly enough, as you did when you came in here, could you use that as your reference?
Yeah.
Now,
as long as it was a straight road.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. But I think even if it was slightly curved, it would be similar.
Yeah.
Now, when you go next time you're with Mum or Dad and they pull up at the side of the road, and you go and ask them, how did you use the curb to work out how close you were to the curb? They may even do this already with you, I don't know. They might look at you and think you come from a different planet. What the heck are you talking about, Jasmine? Because most of us, and you will, I think you've done that anyway, intuitively know when you're close enough to the curb.
Yeah. And
you've almost demonstrated that here. But until you're absolutely sure about that, there's your reference.
Yeah.
You know, next time you're with Mum and Dad, say to them, where's the curb meet the bottom of the windscreen? And almost certainly, whatever the vehicle is, it'll be roughly the same. It's sort of halfway across, shouldn't it? Yeah. So somewhere like that. Okay, well done. So we'll pull up once or twice more before we finish today.
Yeah.
And see if they're as good as this one. So what we'll do, we'll move off. We'll go round. We'll either go under the golden arches back, or we can go all the way round. I know it says bus and taxi round the other bit, but it's not exactly full of buses and taxis.
No.
And there's no one's going to fine us or anything for going round there. Right, just put the clutch down. Squeeze the brake to a stop and put that brake on. Take it out of gear for a moment. Have you got any idea why I've stopped you?
I'm not sure, but it had a lot of noise. I
wasn't too worried about that. You will sort that out. The gas pedal is sensitive, so you'll sort that out eventually.
Indicated
Well, who to? You you mentioned that when we stopped.
Yeah.
That, yeah, you're quite right. There's no one there. Why bother? Yeah, didn't need to. So no, that's not the reason why.
I'm not sure.
Tell me where you want to be looking when you move off before you. Okay.
Or yeah.
Just forwards. Forget where we are. That it's totally quiet.
Oh, blind spot.
That's the one. Yeah. Let's get in the routine of doing that. It's almost certainly because there's nothing going on here that you didn't bother with that.
Yeah. I just forgot about.
I know you did.
That one,
That's why I stopped you.
Yeah. Trying to remember what I did. Yeah. Okay.
And when do you want to be doing the observations?
When you've got to the biting point, because that's when you're going to pull off. Because if I do it before, something might have come by the time I'm ready to go.
Absolutely, yeah, lovely. People watch this and think I've tutored you into saying these things. Now, I've kept very quiet because you said you're going to self-regulate yourself on the clutch.
Give it a go.
Well done. You just got the snake right and then left. Take ourselves back out again.
Out that way?
Yeah, out where those girls are. One of them in school uniforms, so she's nice and early for school.
She's very much on time.
Well, obviously rushing to get there as well. I had a girl ring, so there was so nice ring last night. And she left a voice message and saying it sounded like I got faggots in school. But I wasn't absolutely certain that's what she said. But it turned out when I rang her back, she's a boarder at a school called Benenden.
Ah.
Benenden is in Kent. And she's not the first person who's done this, because they're not far from where she's boarding at school. There is a town called Cranbrook. And we've had several people mix the two up. I sort of say to them, well, actually, it might be a bit tricky giving you lessons.
Yeah.
Now, when we get to the end of the road up there, we're going to turn right.
Okay.
Now, have a little think about the layout here as to when you want to time your signal. Yeah. Okay. And there's no white lines here either.
No.
Now, don't turn too early and end up on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah.
That road, not so much this one. You've done that okay. You're getting lucky today, aren't you? The junctions. See, this is the other primary school.
Yeah.
But goodness knows where the parents are parking at the moment with all of this lot. Yeah.
They might have to actually walk to school.
Oh, yeah. Not too often. That's what you need.
They're like my dog, but giant.
Well, what have you got?
We've got a little tiny Jack Russell.
Oh, right.
So he's tiny. Like never grew. And every time we take him out, they're like, oh, is he a puppy? And I'm like, no, he's 10 years old.
So at the top of the road there we have a roundabout.
Yeah.
We're going to turn right, and you are also going to benefit. Let's just get away from the curves slightly. So we're going to go right. Is that good? Nothing can be coming from the left, and the traffic here, unless it's doing that and that, is all going left. And see